Hey guys, before we start this episode, I wanted to talk to you about Type 1 lifting. So Type 1 lifting is a clothing line that proceeds of the shirts and tanks and everything else goes to the Children's Diabetes Foundation. So this all came about with me and seeing a 5-year-old girl in the emergency department that had new onset of diabetes. So just take a look at the website. It's www.type1lifting.com. So just check it out. If you don't buy anything, that's perfectly fine. I would just like for you just to take a look and just see what we have. So like I said before, www.type1lifting.com. And guys, I hope you enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. Here's another episode of the Type 1 Lifting Podcast. I have a pharmacist by day, Canadian forklift by night, Jess Buettner. How's everything going today?
Not too bad. Just got home from work at Walmart, so I can't complain now.
Good. So you're a pharmacist. So how is everything going on with the COVID-19 and working in the pharmacy? Like, what's that like right now?
Here in Canada, it's less crazy than it was at the beginning. In March, everyone was absolutely panicking, so it was nuts. They thought that all the pharmacies were going to close, so they were rushing to get their meds, and then we got shortages on everything. Now everyone's kind of settled in, which is nice, and we're starting to get busier again, which is good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's good. So, how did you get into that field, by the way?
Well, I've always been interested in healthcare, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do in my first year of university, actually. So, I took the prereqs for pharmacy, and I got in, and it turned out to be something that I actually am really passionate about. And it took off from there, I guess.
All right, very cool. And you're a fellow Type 1 diabetic. So when did you get diagnosed with diabetes, and how did you kind of react to getting type diabetes?
I got diagnosed when I was 11, and right when I was diagnosed, I don't even think it hit me fully, because I had been really sick for 2, maybe 3 months before then. So I was just happy to feel better from the insulin they were giving me in the hospital. And the only thing I was really sad about at the time was that I'd have to miss my soccer game, which was the next day.
Yeah.
And it hit me later. I was upset about different things later on.
Yeah. So anybody in your family diagnosed with diabetes at all, or have it at all?
No, nobody has type 1 except for my great aunt, which actually she got diabetes when she was 4 years old, and the marketing of insulin saved her life. She had it really tough, and actually I never met her. My mom was too scared to let me meet her because she had a lot of medical issues because of her diabetes.
Yeah.
But back in those days, you had to boil needles, and my mom told me lots of crazy stuff she had to do, and I understand why she was missing both feet and she was blind.
Yeah.
But she still lived to 79 years old.
So that's pretty good. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did your parents help you out when you were 11 with your diabetes? Or did you tell your friends as well about you being a diabetic, or you kind of was keeping that a secret?
No, I definitely told everybody. My mom was super helpful. She has a degree in nutrition, so she really helped me with eating foods that would be more beneficial, less hard on my blood sugar. She kept a lot of junk food out of the house because I still wasn't super comfortable with eating stuff that was high in sugar. And as for my friends at school, I actually I got really sick over the summer, and then I switched schools. So I saw someone from my old school about 3 weeks after, and then you know what they said to me is they said, "Hey Jess, I heard you collapsed on the soccer field and got hepatitis B." T's. So my whole school thought I had hepatitis B.
Oh my gosh. Isn't it funny that like word spreads around so quick, and it's like completely false when you get to the person that talks back to you?
Yeah, no, I thought that was so funny. We lived in a fairly small city too, so I was just wondering who had heard that at that point.
Yeah. That's crazy. So, while you were in like since you were 11 to like high school to college, did you get like any burnout phases at all while you were diabetic? You were like, forget this, I'm done, or do you have like no issues throughout the whole time you've been a diabetic?
I never really had any issues with trying to keep my blood sugar under control, but I definitely had a lot of issues with around food and stuff like that, especially. In high school, I kind of developed some binge eating, I guess, and I was always the over-exerciser to try and fix it. That was probably one of my worst habits, is I just eat a ton of food, and I knew I could either exercise or do insulin to manage it, and a lot of the time I just wouldn't do insulin, and I would try to go for like an hour jog to try and burn off a blood sugar of 20-something.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, college was a different story too, but I definitely always had issues with that in high school, I'll say.
Yeah. See, with me, I got diagnosed later on in life, so I really don't know like the earlier stages, like, the younger phases of being a diabetic. So that's why I like always asking, other diabetics to like, hey, what is it like? Because I was diagnosed at 34. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how long have you had it now?
Well, I'm 40 now, so close to 5 years. August will be 5 years. So.
Oh, yeah.
So.
August anniversary.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be my fifth one. So.
Cool. Yeah. July 17th will be my 14th one.
Okay. So, do you celebrate your diversity at all, like on Instagram or like social, or do you kind of like, because like with my wife when I do the diversity pictures, she's like, why are you doing it? Like it's like you're celebrating you having this disease, and I'm like, well, I'm trying to make light of it because I'm stuck with it and I can't do anything with it. So, might as well just celebrate it with a piece of cake or something.
Yeah, no, I'd rather celebrate my diversity than my birthday, probably, I think. I don't know. I don't really like birthdays that much. Plus, mine's right after Christmas, so I feel like diversity is a cool time.
Yeah, you kind of got the shaft, huh?
Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah.
No, I usually like to celebrate it by doing something cool. I think I was in Prague last year, actually, after powerlifting world championships, and they have these really cool, so I just went on a little adventure and was eating not super diabetic friendly foods.
Yeah.
Like they have these things that are like pastries with cinnamon in them, and they fill them with ice cream there.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, I normally never dream of eating one of those, just because, not that I don't eat junk food, it's just I try not to a lot.
Yeah, but it's got cinnamon in it, so that'll help you with your diabetes, right?
Yeah, cured, 100%.
Yeah, that's what everyone thinks. Like, oh, eat cinnamon, you'll be fine. Yeah, so.
Yeah. The weirdest thing someone ever sent to me was a picture of a cut in half onion on their heel, and they said it would help my diabetes.
Oh my gosh. So it's funny, like, speaking about that, like, I get, like, occasionally, I get these posts on my Instagram, and they're like, hey, this doctor helped me out with all vegetables and nothing else and cleared my diabetes, and I'm like, stop with that crap, it doesn't work. Nice try. So, I always have to delete it because I don't want anybody, that's really desperate with diabetes and being like, hey, this can work, and, them try to go to it and do like an herbal thing and just screw their whole body up.
Yeah, definitely. I think people just have such a lack of understanding of the difference between type 1 and type 2, because the worst people are the carnivore people. The amount of carnivore people that I mean say you won't need any insulin if you eat on the carnivore diet.
Yeah.
It's just not true.
Yeah. And it's crazy, like, cows, like if you eat meat, like if you eat meat, you have cows that eat grass, and there's carbs in grass, and it absorbs into their muscle. So like, what do you're also eating carbs too. It's like, think about it.
I know, like, it's glycogen, yeah. Well, and protein is converted to carbs too, so you still need.
Yeah.
It just drives me nuts. Always need some insulin. I wish you didn't, but
yeah.
I wish there was some crazy diet where you wouldn't need any insulin at all, but that's just not a thing yet.
No, and I don't think it ever will. So, unfortunately.
Yeah. People always ask if I'm excited for. I don't know if they ask you this all the time, but if you're waiting for a cure or something like that, but I don't really live my life that way.
No, well, when I first got diagnosed, they told me about the honeymoon phase, and I was like praying to Jesus like every single day to like, this is only a honeymoon phase, and like I'll just be back to normal when I was before. But like, obviously it never happened. But I'm this is kind of sickening, but I'm kind of grateful that I do have it, because I get to meet like all these other diabetics in this like amazing community, because like I would always went on social and just like ask people like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. What do I need to do? Or like, it was funny because like the changing of the lancet, like I never changed the lancet till it got to the point till it was like sticking in my finger, and like I had no clue there was you had to change the lancet until like some pregnant coworker of mine that had diabetes of being pregnant. She was like, you don't change your lancet, and I'm like, well, what do you mean?
Nobody told you?
No one told me.
Oh my god. See, that's something, as a pharmacist, that's actually something I see all the time. People will come up to me, like older type 2 diabetics usually, and they'll get a new meter, and I'll show them to change the lancet, and they'll say, what do you mean? And I'll say, you have to change these. And then they go, oh. And I was like, how long have you had your other poker for? And they say 10 years or something.
What?
One guy said 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Without changing his lancet.
That's insane. Either he didn't use it enough, or he just, oh god, I can't imagine how blunt that needle was.
I know. I was like, man, your fingers hurt. And he did have big dents in his fingers, but oh man. And I even checked, they come with those packs of 10, right? In the new meters.
Yeah, so yeah, and then you just get like a little box of like 30 or 60 or whatever it is, so.
In Canada, they usually come with a little baggie of 10, and I counted his little baggie, there were 9 left in there.
That's insane. Yeah, it's crazy, because like, I was like, for me, like I was, like I said, I was always like looking online or asking people, because my endocrinologist didn't, like, I don't think he even cares of like, trying to help me out, which is sad, because he's just like pushing people and getting as much money as he can and go from there. So, which is, crazy.
I think there's such a gap in care in late onset diabetics like yourself with type 1. I think there's such a gap there, because I had a great diabetes education team when I was a kid, like a dietitian, endocrinologist. I had a couple different nurses, and I would see them every 3 to 6 months. The doctor would be available for my mom to call him every Friday morning for questions. But as soon as I became an adult, you get kicked out of that group, and then there's nothing. My diabetes doctor sucks. He said he doesn't believe in insulin pumps. I'm trying to get on one at the moment. I'm trying to get on the Omnipod.
Yeah.
And he said he gave me incorrect info for the office. He didn't even know what it was. He'd never even heard of Fiasp, which was a new insulin I started myself, because you can get it under a pharmacist in Canada. He's not the greatest. Yeah,
that's insane. Like my guy, so bitch section going on right now. So my guy, he's like, oh, I don't believe in the Dexcom. Like, you can get the Freestyle Libre, which I've tried, and like the first time, I wasn't really a too big fan of it, because I didn't quite understand how to use it. Like, my wife got it for me for Christmas. Like, she went on eBay to buy like the sensor and the the disc on eBay so I could try it out, because I was like, because she wants me to have a good normal blood sugar, and so I tried it, and I would, scan it, look, and it'd be like stupid high, take some insulin to kind of counteract, and then like I would check 10 minutes later and it's like still the same, take more insulin, and then like bottom out, and then like I had to eat more carbs and crap, and then it looked like a roller coaster if you saw and it's like, so that's so bad for you to do that, but I was like didn't understand like how to handle the Libre, and then like I was leaning over when I was working and nicked the Libre off my arm from like the armrest, and so my wife's like, "You want to try another one?" And I'm like, "Forget it, like I'm done, I'm done." And then my neighbor, he was actually on a podcast a while back. His name's Leon, but he gave me like the 10-day sensor with 3 discs, the 3 sensors, and so I tried it for like the whole month, and it was a lot better because I got a better understanding how to use it. But, I don't know. Like, I know you have the Libre as well, correct?
I do. I wish I could get the Dexcom, but I just don't have coverage for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I even have to get prior authorization to get the, what do you call it, the Libre. They won't even accept it yet. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They just said you could just prick your fingers. Your health, that's my health insurance. They could just prick your fingers, you're fine.
Oh man, see, it's a problem in Canada too because the government doesn't cover it at all, and then private insurance isn't good either. I hate when I rip a sensor off because I don't pay for it now, but I used to pay full price for it for about a year, and man, that was a $100 mistake every time.
Ugh, that sucks. Yeah, so. Do you ever notice with wearing the Libre, like your numbers can be like off by like a large amount by like pricking your finger and from scanning?
It is actually. It has 20% error, so it could be 20% higher or lower. So if your sugar is actually 10, it could be 8 or 12.
Yeah, because
I do test my blood.
Yeah, so there's been times that I've checked it and it would be like 120 point. So like we don't use like the up to 20, we do like 100, 200, 300, and so like I checked it was at like 120, and then I checked my blood, it was like another 120 points more than that, so it was like 240, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I'm like, and that was the first time I used it, and and I was like looking when I used it the second time, I saw like a great line going through, and I'm like, is that real or is that fake? So
Yeah, like, oh, brutal. I know. The odd time it does that too, and I have no idea why. Apparently, vitamin C and Tylenol cause it to be higher or lower than expected too.
Huh, I did not know that.
Yeah, so if you take a bunch of Tylenol, it'll appear lower than it actually is. If you take a bunch of vitamin C, it'll appear falsely high.
Interesting. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. I never noticed that, yeah.
I don't know if that's the thing with the Dexcom, but it's definitely, I've studied this a lot because I have to educate people about it. I'm studying to be a certified diabetes educator, so cool. I can officially talk to people about all these devices and stuff. Yeah. So there's lots of things I found out about the Freestyle that I wouldn't have really known otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. I wanted to get, because I was in the medical field too, and like I actually left last August because I was working in I was an ER like orthopedic technician, so if like kids break their bones or whatnot, I'll like set their bones back together with like a doctor and then splint them and then just send them off. So
oh man, that would be such a hard job.
Oh, I love it. I love ortho stuff. That was my thing. And then the problem is I was trying to get into nursing school, and it was long story, but I didn't get in. And then I told myself, I'm like, I don't want to be a 40-year-old tech because I don't want 20-year-old little girls to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. And then I have no idea, and I have more experience than they do.
Yeah, that's what would happen for sure. But no, that job would be like, props to you for being able to do that. I don't know. I guess I went into pharmacy for a reason because it's less invasive for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always been like, my whole like 14-year career has been like all emergency medicine the whole time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I was up in Boston. I used to live in Boston, and I was working during the Boston Marathon bombing, and then I was a medic in the Air Force. Well, I was a medical technician in the Air Force, so I did a lot of like ER stuff to help them out. And then I moved to Atlanta, and I was working in the Children's Hospital for like geez, like 4 or 5 years. So, and then I just, after when I turned 40, I'm like, I can't do it. So.
Yeah, you're way too overqualified for that.
Yep, absolutely. But okay, so let's like move on to the powerlifting stuff, because that's the main reason I wanted to talk to you. So can you tell everybody what your numbers are? Because they are just absolutely ridiculous for your lifts.
My best lift is deadlift, and I was able to lift 550 pounds at World or Canadian Championships this year. And then for squat, I was able to do 463 pounds, and my bench is my worst lift, but I managed to do 230 pounds.
Damn, that's good. That's crazy. So how tall are you roughly?
I am 5'7.5".
Okay, all right. Well, just to put it in perspective, I'm 6'6", and so my lifts, my back squat's 405, my deadlift's 415. Granted, because I got like hot, I'm pretty tall, and then my bench is 330, I think. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's insane. The amount of, I just watch your Instagram videos, and it's just like, God damn, like this is insane. Like, how is she doing this? So, like, what got you into the whole like powerlifting world?
Well, actually, I was on the university track and field team, and I was actually a pole vaulter, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
But I've always been good at shot put and stuff as well. I was being dumb, and I sprained my ankle snowboarding, and then I just started lifting weights for the summer, and turns out I was way better at it than I was at pole vaulting, for sure. So I did my first powerlifting meet. I absolutely loved it, just because powerlifting, if you've ever done it, it's a really fun environment, and at local meets, it's just, everyone's super welcoming, and it's a cool thing to just jump right into. And then after that, I continued on the university track and field team as a thrower, and I kind of did powerlifting as a side thing. But after I just started to get way, way better at powerlifting than I ever had been at shot put. And actually, even though powerlifting is sometimes very difficult to control my sugars during, I found that my diabetes impacted my athletic performance in shot put a lot more, surprisingly. I just could never control that adrenaline spike you get with those speed and power kind of sports with shot put. And for some reason, I don't know why, whenever my blood sugar would go up in shot put, I could not throw that stupid metal ball nearly as far as I could in practice. Whereas with lifting, it's just not that. I just lift the same, I feel. It doesn't affect me as much. I don't know why that is.
No, I mean, maybe because you're just doing your rep scheme is pretty short. It's from like 1 to maybe 12 or like 3 to 5, right? So it could just be like that, for personally, that what I think is it's your blood sugars, it's not really cardio kind of, so it won't raise your blood sugar, I think, unless you just like get completely amped up and excited and then just, rip the lift or something like that. I mean, maybe that they'll spike it, but I mean, that's what I think.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Although my sugars, they do rise almost every time I do a heavy lifting session. So I have to bolus for that and everything. I think for shot put, it was just more of a balance. It was a balance thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hard to say.
Yeah. So, you're training in your living room right now?
Yep.
So
it's about 20 meters that way.
So how did you get all the supplies and stuff? Did you get it from the gym that you worked at or working out at, or did you just buy it online?
Actually, I bought my squat rack locally. I bought it in Saskatoon, so I was even surprised they had any left. I just called them up, and it took them 4 days to call me back, but they had a squat rack in stock, so I went and picked it up and built it had to put it together in my living room. And then I rented some weights from a local gym and rented, my bench and I bought a bunch of flooring.
Okay. So did you get
some stall mats.
Yeah, did you get the 3/4 inch like barn stall mats?
Yep.
Yeah, I have those down in the basement. Those things are amazing. I love them. So
they're so good.
Yeah.
Super hard to carry though. Into an apartment, it's hard.
Yeah, I can't imagine we built a patio in my house, and I'm trying to drag the mat like out into the patio from the basement, and I'm like, they're like 80 pounds, and so they're like, it's just awkward 80 pounds just to move it over outside. So it's just like I got to the point I'm like, forget it, I'm just leaving them in here.
Yeah, actually though, they just don't fold, and it's super awkward.
No, and like even rolling them up, they just immediately just like, because they just want to lay flat, and so they just like open up like right when you're ready to pick it up.
Yeah, like even when I was buying them from the store, the people who were working were so mad at me. They're like, you should have a truck in order to bring those to your house, because I just have like a little Mazda hatchback at the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll fold them then. And then they were just too proud to let me do it. So it was just like, this is your job.
Yeah. So what kind of training are you like? So obviously with the corona stuff going on, are you on like a building muscle phase, like just a strength phase, or like getting ready for are you getting ready for a competition anytime soon?
I was getting ready for competition. Worlds was supposed to be pushed back till September for powerlifting, but Canada has backed out of that now, so I'm kind of just deciding what I want to do next. Okay. I'll probably do a muscle building phase. It's better for my sugars for sure.
Yeah. So what kind
or higher reps.
So what kind of programs are you typically doing? Like what is, like, do you ever do like a lot of accessory work, or mobility work, or anything like that?
A mix. Like I do 5 or 6 sessions a week. I bench 4 times a week. I squat 2 times, then I deadlift 2 times, and then I do accessory work mixed in with each of those days. And then I try, although I've been sucking at this lately, I try to do 2 or 3 30-minute cardio sessions a week.
Okay. So what does that
It just helps.
So is that like running wise, or just like on the like on a treadmill, elliptical, rower? Like what do you got?
I like doing that rotating stair climber thing.
Oh, okay. The devil?
The devil, I guess, yeah. It's my favorite. I just love it. And then probably biking. I don't really jog that much anymore. I'm a lazy powerlifter.
So with mobility wise, so I know a lot of powerlifters are kind of like not really mobile as much, but like they're kind of stiff because they have to be stiff just to keep that weight, like lift the weight. So do you do like any like yoga stretches or anything like that, or any other mobility just weight wise?
I don't do a ton of stretching, but I do foam roll muscles with a lacrosse ball, because everything gets super tight. So that's before every session. There's certain muscle groups that I always hit with the lacrosse ball to loosen up. And then I miss the sauna. As far as loosening up muscles.
Yeah.
I would go foam roll in there with the lacrosse ball. And that was the best thing ever, but it's not sanitary anymore. And it makes me sad.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to do that, but I mean, I just can imagine like all those gross people sweating, even on the stair, even on the devil. It's pretty much like you'll see people like before Corona. There were a couple people in my gym that would just like sweat all over it, and like it was so gross. And I'm like, how are you able to clean this thing off? Because you might as well take a mop and just go to town with it and just hose it down because it's so nasty.
Yeah, just burn it all at this point. Are gyms open where you're at?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So when the gyms weren't open, I have a gym in my basement, and I would have to train at like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. because I'd have to wake up and I'm working from home, and like I literally built like almost everything out of like Home Depot supplies, except for like the box, the squat rack, the bench press. I bought a bench. We got a commercial treadmill. I got like a 10-year-old rower that I got for like $100, and then like I got like a dumbbells, Olympic rings, pull-up bars, and I have this thing. It's called the banded march pad. So I used like a piece of plywood, and I drilled a set of 2x4s on it, and then I used eye screws and screwed it to like one side, like one each side, and I used clips and a band, and I have like a weight belt, and I just attach to the weight belt, and I just do like march in place the whole time.
Oh, that's pretty good. You have a really intense setup at home. Nice.
Yeah, I gotta show you. I used to be a trainer like a year ago. So I like all the stuff that they were getting rid of. I would take it. So I have like med balls from them that like are open. I just put duct tape on them. It's like I don't really need new equipment. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's actually like that's such a solid setup.
Yeah, even the squat rack it was like made out of 4x4s and a cement bucket. So obviously with the weight you're pushing, I won't be able to put it on there. So it's most I've had on there I think was like 385.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the one from YouTube with the tutorial, right?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen that one too. I was contemplating doing that, but until I managed to get a hold of my squat rack, which is cheap actually. It was like $300.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
So I was suspicious already myself, but apparently I have a friend who squats like 700 pounds on it all the time, so I should be okay.
Yeah, you should be fine. Just don't put it keep it on the inside. Don't keep it on the outside.
Yeah, that's a thing too.
Because I've actually seen people put a crap ton of weight on like the outside, and then the power rack just falls right over them. So.
Oh yeah, that would be bad. I have actually almost done that already on the first day.
Yeah, I have noticed like there was a couple videos that you posted that you were squatting, you couldn't make it, and so you kind of push it back on like those poles on the power rack. So I mean that's super key because like with my bench, with the Home Depot bench that I don't have like any bars to keep, like, so say if something happens and drop and I can't get it off, I don't have something that can just like rest it on there and roll it off.
Yeah, it's so sketchy. I have safeties, which is good. Actually, for diabetes things, I was front squatting, and I was using bands as clips. So I'd put a band around the outside of one plate and stretch it all the way to the other side as a clip.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the plates would rattle, and I'm in an apartment, so that was just to quiet them down.
Yeah.
And then anyways, I was front squatting, and I unracked the bar. It's sitting on the front of my shoulders. And as I did that, the pegs came out that the bar was resting on, so now I have nowhere to set this bar back down on. And it simultaneously, the band came around and ripped off my Libra sensor.
Oh.
So I was so mad. And I was holding 200 pounds like that, and I just had to, it's my living room, right? You can't really drop the weight. So I had to like awkwardly drop it on my legs, and I had a huge bruise for a whole week. And I'm sure my landlord would not be happy to know that those kind of incidents that have happened, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm a quiet tenant, so
yeah, I mean, you got the barn stall mats, so you're good to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like actually, he said I was a quiet tenant, so I don't know how that's happening because I full on dropped 400 pounds on the rack at midnight a couple weeks ago.
Damn, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, for me, when I was working out at night and I had did a clean and jerk with heavy weight, I literally would have to put it on my shoulders and then kind of bounce it and grab it and then kind of ease my way down to the bottom of it because I can't drop it because I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, soon to be 2-year-old, and I'll wake them up, so I can't do that. So it's so I've gotten a lot better. I think it's been helping me getting stronger. So because I'm literally here and I have to slowly bring it down, and that helps build strength and grip strength as well.
Yeah, well, and you couldn't drop it from above your head because you're 6'6", so that would be insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky I have a 13-foot basement. So
yeah, especially. Yeah, and I think it's helped me become stronger too, especially trying to set deadlifts down gently.
Yeah. Do you think going slower down on the deadlifts has been a huge help for you?
I think so, but I don't think it's something that should be done all the time.
No.
It's just something that I've had to do. I think it's better to probably do it maybe half and half or even a little bit less.
Yeah, I agree.
If I had the choice. Yeah. I miss dropping the weights. Gyms are open, but it's hard to get to them sometimes. Mm-hmm. Just the hours are not as good, and I work in a city that's about an hour and a half away from where I actually would say I live.
Yeah. So that's hard. Yeah, because like my gym, we're actually open from like 4:30 to, I believe, like normal hours. So like till like 10 or midnight or something like that, just depending on the day.
Yeah, that's pretty solid hours. But
Yeah.
4:30 is nice. I think ours is normally, the one I would go to is normally 24 hours, but now it's not because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
The 24 hours is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me now, like I work out in the morning time because I feel like I get a better job of like lifting my weights and doing the workouts in the morning compared to being at night, because there's been times for me that like I hit like really low blood sugars right before I go lift weights, and then like I look at it and I'm like, well, I can't lift weights now, so I might as well just eat something and, you know, be depressed for the night.
Yeah. Oh, that's my biggest pet peeve. But yeah, I hated that more when I was more into running. Because I find when I'm lifting weights, it's easy for my sugars to go up. If it's high, that's when it makes me angry.
Yeah. So what kind of blood sugar numbers do you usually kind of want to be at while you're lifting weights?
Well, ideally in between, probably about 4 to 8. So in your guys' units, that would be 72 to like 160 maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Try and aim for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually aim for like the 200 mark, because I obviously, like, when I lift weights, I kind of like bottom out a little bit, or just depending on what I'm doing. So, but it's usually like right around that area. So no issues after that.
Yeah, you know what? When I was doing more Olympic lifting, I would want my sugars to be a little bit higher because it would drop. But with powerlifting, they just never do anymore, and I don't know if that's because I'm just doing lower rep, heavier stuff, but I like doing bodybuilding style workouts because my sugars always drop and it's nice.
Yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen her Instagram, she is like absolutely like jacked, like just ripped. It's insane. So how long have you been like that? Pretty much like since college at all, or just like?
I definitely got leaner in my later years of college. I finally got a handle on my eating, I guess. Yeah, that's basically what happened. Is I started lifting more, and I started just tracking what I was eating more closely. And powerlifting actually really helped that too, because it kind of gave me a motivator to actually keep my weight down and just monitor what I was eating more.
Mm-hmm. So what, like on a typical day, like what would you be eating, or like how many calories would you eat a day?
How many calories? If I'm trying to maintain my body weight, probably about 2,700. And I think that's pretty high considering I don't do a lot of cardio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I try to eat not a huge amount of carbs. I try to eat lower carb for the most part, especially when I'm at work, because I just find I get a really bad stress reaction.
Yeah.
When I'm at work, if I eat carbs especially, and then my sugars just don't go down for hours, and it's just hard.
Yeah, I feel like that the same way too. Like when I eat, for me, because like there's carbs everywhere, and it's like, and I'm working in an office, and so it's like they have crap everywhere, like junk food, you know, and it's like so hard for me. And everyone keeps on asking me like, "Oh, can you eat this? Or do you want me to put like move to another room and eat this in front, like so I don't eat this in front of you?" I'm like, "No, I don't care." Like, and everyone's like, and I'm like, I could just take enough insulin to eat it, but I'm like, I really don't want to eat it. So
don't you hate it when they pressure you to eat it though?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, come on, just eat it. You'll be fine. Just take some insulin. I'm like, I really don't want to. Like, I want to save my insulin for something better. Like, because I don't want to eat this crap cake, or, you know, it's like a birthday cake, you know, and they're like, you know, yeah, it's just, I don't want to do it. So.
I'm just waiting for the day where I have to slap a cupcake out of somebody's hand. Working at Walmart, it's hard because they just always have baking and stuff, and they never stop about trying to convince me to eat cake, and I'm like, do you want me to be the grumpiest pharmacist you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be so mad if I eat this.
So, as a pharmacist, are you typically standing like a good amount of the day, like pretty much the whole time?
Do I typically
Stand,
Sorry?
stand during the whole time?
Yeah, for most part of the day. Like if I work evenings, I get to sit down more, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So how does that like does that you think that helps out with your lifting or just to kind of like makes your legs like too tired to even like lift?
I think it's a little detrimental to my lifting. Probably better than sitting all day, but I find my quads and my calves get so tight that I have to warm up for ages before I lift heavy. So it is kind of hard that way, but
Yeah.
I would still prefer it to sitting.
Yeah, they actually gave me a standing desk that like goes up and down so I can sit down or stand up, and I would always stand up because I just can't. I don't want to sit down and be lazy because like everyone that I work in the office like they always sit down and they always complain about their back or like something else, and I'm like I don't want no that's not gonna be me, not gonna be me.
Yeah,
I can't.
like I won't be that guy.
Yeah, I can't do it. So and I always walk around and stuff too. So that's another thing.
Oh yeah, I'm always doing my weird stretches in our little back room sort of thing, and everyone's just accepted it by now, which is good.
Yeah, I foam. So like in my office is a back space, and I foam roll, like in that area, and so
Nice.
there were like tons of people looking at me like, what is this? Like, what are you doing? And then like then finally like a couple of the other my other coworkers have been starting using it too. So it's like okay, right, everyone's getting used to it.
Oh man, that's awesome! I'm so jealous that you have that at your workplace.
Yeah, and it's funny like we have like arrows pointing in what way we have to walk. So it's like sometimes we have to walk even longer just to get back to our desk. So it's like I kind of just feel that as like exercising and getting my steps in before I work out or pretty much just try to get as much exercise as I can.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's a lot of time where I just like the washroom's across the store, so I'll just take a full lap around the store really fast though, because I can't really stay away for long if it's just me. So I just like run around the store and come back basically.
Yeah. So with the back to powerlifting, so like what's your warm-ups typically look like?
Typically for training or for competition?
Either or. I mean, let's do training.
Training, okay. I would usually try to go for either a jog or do like a circuit style warm up where I do push ups, pull ups, some sort of leg exercise, some sort of squat, just to try and get my body moving.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do my foam rolling with the lacrosse ball, and then I usually just start out with the exercise I'm doing at a lighter weight and kind of work up to my top sets. And by then I'm pretty warmed up for the next exercise, so then we're good to go.
Yeah. So do you try to hit your top set like while you're warming up, or just get to the floor then hit your top set?
I just I definitely do my warm up separately and then head into my top set. So I'll start it with the bar and then put on a plate each side, another plate, and do however many reps I'm doing for my top set. And then once I hit that, I usually have some back off volume work. So if I'm doing a top set of 3, I might end up with some sets of 5 or 8 after that.
Okay.
That are lighter.
All right, cool. Very cool.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. For me when I warm up, I just do that banded march thing and do pull-ups and kettlebell swings to kind of warm up, and then with the bar, and I'll use the bar like a little bit, and then I'll just start at like what you do. You just add the weight and keep on just adding the weight, and then start the workout.
Yeah, absolutely. Kettlebell swings are great, actually.
Yeah,
I wish I had a homemade kettlebell.
Yeah, I love it. So like I don't have a kettlebell. I have a 55-pound dumbbell that I use as a kettlebell, and I don't go like American standards like over the head. I just do like a Russian, just like all the way up to my shoulders, because that's the last thing I want to do is like have the thing slip and fall on my head. So that's why I just keep it going straight. So yeah.
That's nuts. I don't have dumbbells right now, which is kind of a thing that I would like to have in my place. Yeah. I just do weird exercises with the plates, which are really big and flat. So I'll do shoulder press, like pizza press.
Yep.
With the plates. which is actually good. It just looks weird, and if my neighbors were ever to look into my living room, they would just, I don't know what they would do.
Yeah, I have, like, if I work outside, like, I'll get my neighbors looking at me like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, just, he's trying to kill himself out there.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like just suffering and just sit down, and then I immediately have to go for a run or something like that, and they're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, they'd see your squat rack and be like, hey, is that a homemade guillotine? Like, that's what it kind of looked like to me with all the wood.
Yeah, there's a lot of wood down there. It's pretty funny. It's like I just try to be resourceful, so which I was, and I'm very grateful. And everyone's like, because down here, and like up there, like you can't get anything at the sports stores at all. They're like, there's nothing. And even like with Rogue too, if you try to get Rogue bumper plates or something, like you have to, wait till like August to get them. So, which is insane. So.
Yeah, and if you can build it yourself, why not?
Yeah. That's all I do. And I love it. I always try to find like other things I could do to use wood to help with this, like me work exercising. So.
Yeah, I still have to try and build myself some sort of plate rack, which if you look on Pinterest, so many people trying to do with PVC pipe and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Have you tried?
No, I don't know. So for me, I put the weights on the side of the mats, and kind of like, and I just leave them there because I don't have a tree or anything like that. I just kind of just throw them to the side and just leave them as is.
Yeah, me too. Except I've dented the walls a little bit doing that.
Yeah, because
the plates are so thin and heavy.
Yeah. Because you have the metal, because you have the metal ones. All mine are like bumper plates, or except I do have a couple like metal 10s, but I'll just throw them on the floor and it's concrete. So
nice.
So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, no doubt. I can't complain about my plates though, but that is one thing. I mean, it's not. I'm gonna be moving out of this place soon and renting a house to myself, and it has a garage.
Nice.
Which I'm pumped about.
Nice.
So they're gonna heat it for me. So I'm super amped to have an actual home gym setup that I don't have to worry about mangling all the time.
Yeah. I love like garage gyms. I think they're so cool, and you could do so much. So yeah, I can't wait to see your setup. Yours is probably gonna be pretty sick.
Oh, it'll probably just be the same thing, but it'll just be cool because the house I'm renting has a deck right around the corner. So, it'll probably just be nice and bright. So I'm excited.
Yeah, good. So, I kind of also want to talk about your social media following, like your social media, how it's like you have a huge amount of followers.
Yeah, you know what? Ask away. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so. Like there was one time I was showing my coworkers like, hey, I'm gonna be interviewing this person in like on Sunday, and it was like at 125, and then like literally 2 days later it's already at like 126. So when did you notice like that big explosion of like all those followers like onto your page?
I was just looking at that because I couldn't remember, and there was this one video in 2017 where I was deadlifting 405 for, I think, 6 reps. And that video just got reposted a ton of times. And it got reposted on Facebook and got over 1 million views.
Damn. Yeah,
so I didn't know where it came from, and I was all of a sudden getting like a crazy amount of followers. And I think at that time it was maybe 30, 40 or 50,000, which was nuts to me because I'd been powerlifting for I think 3 years already, and I never even took videos of beats or anything. I just took like crappy, low quality pictures, but maybe it was just the quality of the video was good. I'm not sure, but that one got reposted a bunch of times, and it started growing from there, and I started posting more after that, just because it was something that I guess people are interested in. Like, I just never was a person who thought I would have a big social media following.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, well, obviously you lift like crazy heavy weights, and it's not like an average person can do this, and they see like a 5'7" female, doing like lifting these crazy amount of weights. They're just like in awe of it, and they just, it's almost like a car accident. Like you just can't stop looking at it. So, and you're just like, wow, this is like amazing. Like, how is she doing this?
Yeah, I think that's definitely some of the appeal of powerlifting for sure. So you're just like, are they gonna make it?
Yeah.
You're just waiting for some sort of joint to blow out or something. But no, I think it kind of coincided with women getting more involved in lifting weights too. So it's just good timing. But yeah, it's been something I've had a lot of fun with for sure too.
Yeah, and then also obviously with like a high following with like social media and stuff like that, you get like sponsors and stuff. So how do you deal with like what kind of sponsors you want to work with, or like do you have like I don't know, like do you look at them like previously and be like, okay, this is what they're all about, and maybe I want to get involved with it, or they do this and I want no part of it?
Yeah, exactly. So I did end up, I started to get sponsorship offers quite a while ago, but I've been really selective with who I pick because I just don't want to promote something that I don't actually use. Mm-hmm. You'll never see me with a CBD sponsorship. I don't know what it is about that, but you won't see me promoting that just because I just feel wouldn't be genuine for me.
Yeah.
I picked Inner Strength products because I just really like what they do. They supply powerlifting equipment and they support powerlifting in the community, mm-hmm. Which I always thought was amazing. And actually at my first powerlifting meet way back in 2013, the owner, Rhea, was actually, she lent me her belt.
Oh, cool.
And I didn't even know her, which
Yeah.
I thought was the coolest thing ever. And super nice because we were competing against each other at the time. She's obviously so much better than me, but things like that. Supplement World in Saskatoon, because they're actually like a locally owned chain now, and the stuff they do in the community is really good, and they've been super supportive. And with them, I always have the freedom to choose which supplements I promote. And now it's kind of weird because I do have a dual sponsorship with them and Diametize. But I chose Diametize above the other ones because they have tested products. So as a drug-tested athlete, I always, I would never pick a supplement company that I didn't like what they were about. Mm-hmm. And I feel that Diametize is a super upfront company. Plus, I was already using a lot of their products, like their pre-workout and protein powder. Mm-hmm. I gotta watch how much of their protein powder I eat because they have a Fruity Pebbles and a Cocoa Pebbles one, and I don't really eat cereal because it's too carby. Yeah, really. But mm-hmm. I gotta watch it because I love that stuff, and yeah, I guess it could be worse as far as things to eat, but
yeah. Well, that's very cool. You probably get like hundreds of people like wanted you like to pimp their product out. Like on an average, like how many people will try to reach out to you just for that?
Oh, a lot. I've been getting some really hilarious ones lately. I don't know why. Like just this morning, actually, someone messaged me about promoting a knee brace, and then I looked in their bio and they spelled a bunch of words wrong. And they're like, we think you'd be a great ambassador. They just spew a bunch of BS at you and hope it sticks, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, even with me, I'm like almost at like 4,000 followers. It's like I still get promoted. Like, hey, where are my t-shirts and stuff? I'm like, wait a second, Type 1 Lifting is a t-shirt company. And then try my supplements, and and what it is if you get involved with their supplements, you put in like $150 worth of stuff, and you get this whole packet, and then you get like 20% off of like, use my code, Type 1 10 or something like that, and you get a discount. It's like, I don't use your stuff, so like I don't want to do that. And plus, like, it's kind of like my Instagram is kind of like my business page, so it's like I'm trying to promote my t-shirts, and it's like I really can't promote anything else.
Yeah, you can promote someone else's t-shirts.
Yeah, or like supplements and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I can maybe see me like doing the supplement stuff, but like obviously it has to be like diabetic friendly and like tested and all that stuff. But like I don't even know if it's even worth it for like what I'm trying to do. So, you know.
Yeah, for the most part, probably not. I held off on the supplements for a long time because, I don't know, it just wasn't something that they wanted me to do a ton of promotion and kind of almost spam people the offers I did get.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now with Diametize and Supplement World, they're not like that at all, and they're actually just really supportive, and instead of just being about straight up promotion all the time.
Yeah. It's like you have to take a picture with like this protein supplement like facing this camera, and it has to show like for this amount of seconds or like stuff like that. It's just like it's insane about like all the stuff they're asking people to do.
Yeah, exactly. And now I only accept sponsorships from, well, usually stuff that I'm already using, actually. Like,
yeah.
My newest one is Rascal Apparel, which it's funny because I just love their shirts so much. There's one, I don't know if you saw, I posted about it, this is your body on creatine.
Yes, I saw that one with the rainbow. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
I just loved it so much.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, a long story short, I guess, becoming sponsored by them from that post. But it was just something I ordered and loved, absolutely loved. And yeah, I think it turned out for the best because their shirts are so awesome. And there's no, I don't have to post anything at all. It's just I post what I feel like.
Yeah.
And just because I really genuinely like their stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that is a great pick. That is a great t-shirt. Like, I'm jealous I didn't think of that. Damn it. So.
I know. It's just such a good design as well. Like, it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a couple t-shirts that I've designed, and I'm like, oh, these are going to knock it out of the park. And then, like, I put them on my website, and they just don't do absolutely nothing. And then I'm wearing the shirt, like, out in public, like, oh, that's a cool shirt. And I'm like, oh, you should check the website out. You know, it goes... You know, proceeds of the shirts go to the Children's Diabetes Foundation, and no one gets it. And it's like, you like it, but why don't you get it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough thing too. Yeah, and like people DM me and they're like, you should get me a shirt, and
yeah,
I'm just like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, I can't imagine what your DM looks like.
Sometimes I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably better than normal, but for a while there, I don't know why. There's just a lot of strange people on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, because they have a platform, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, I look through a lot of my DMs to try and answer diabetes questions for sure, but that's a landmine.
Yeah, I can imagine. So
because lots of times people try and stick their foot in the door by asking something about diabetes.
Oh yeah.
And then they turn out to be a level 10 creeper, and it's just I just wish I never answered.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So we got like 2 questions left. Okay, so
okay.
What is your favorite book that you've read multiple times, or have you read once and you're just like absolutely obsessed with it?
Like any kind of book?
Any kind of book.
Oh man, well when I was a kid I read all the Harry Potter books over and over and over. I actually wore out one of the copies.
Okay.
So that's one.
Okay.
I was a Harry Potter nerd for sure. But as an adult I think I read Gone with the Wind quite a few times.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. And
I
then
just listen to audiobooks anyways.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts the whole time. So, okay, so last thing. So, what would you tell a diabetic that just a new onset diabetic of what's going to happen?
Oh, well, maybe I guess my best piece of advice would be that I always say you can do anything with type 1 diabetes that a non-diabetic person could. It's just going to be more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say for sure.
Okay, awesome. Well, Jess, thank you very much for doing this podcast. I really, truly mean a lot. My recording's going to stop in about probably a minute, so I just wanted to say thank you very much, and I really do appreciate everything that you've done.
Oh, for sure. Well, thanks for having me on, and I just appreciate being able to have this conversation.
Yeah. All right.